Oh, look at that. This must have been so amazing to experience. Oh, here we go. Let's get a bit of that slipstream. All right, here we go. Lap 7. How's our fuel looking? Ooh. I haven't actually finished 10 laps, so I hope that's enough fuel. I hope so. Well, team, welcome back to Next Level JJ, and today it is all about the greatest one. Hey, look, it's really good to have you. Of course, if you want to join our team, head over to nextleveljj.com. All the details are there. And then, of course, the amazing music, as always, provided by Stream Beats by Harris Heller. Go check them out. Links in the description. But, of course, you can find them on Spotify. So, simple. Why is this the greatest one? So the interesting thing is I was actually sort of having a look and trying to find an excuse to drive a BMW. And then I went, well, hang on a minute. Let's see how BMW did at Le Mans. And so I stumbled across this car you see behind me, which is the BMW V12. Yes, it's a V12 LMR. And so the reason why it's the greatest one is because, interesting enough, it was actually their one and only outright victory at Le Mans. And so I thought, okay, well, great, let's have a look and let's do a bit of research, see how we go. And so it actually turned out that it was not just their only one, but it is regarded by many to be one of the best races that occurred of all time. And so, yeah, I thought let's go down this rabbit hole. And so let's have a quick look here. So as we can see over here, very simply, this is a race that occurred in 1999. And the reason why it was such an astonishing race is because they were full manufacturers that had a shot of actually winning it. Now, we'll get into the car in a second, but interesting enough here, Formula One driver Gerhard Berger came in and helped them get this car to the top step. Shout out to all the Bergers out there. Now, the race. So the 67th 24-hour race is recognized as one of the most exciting in history of a race, thanks to a string of unexpected twists. Now, you know your Le Mans, Toyota is no stranger to unexpected twists and last lap dramas and stuff like that. But Toyota, Mercedes, Audi, BMW, Nissan, and Panos took to the start, all contenders for victory. So it was an absolutely awesome race. Now, you can go and see everything I've got in front of me now. I'll put the links in the description. But most importantly, there were all kinds of failures from Mercedes-Benz. If you remember a Mercedes-Benz flipping down one of the straights, that's the race that it occurred in. Yes. And so there was actually two flips that happened. The one was in practice or qualifying, and then, of course, the one actually occurred in the race. Then there were Audis and Toyotas that had issues. Interesting enough, I believe the lead Toyota was blocked by a custom of BMW, which forced it off the racing line, and it then later picked up a puncture, which basically took it out of contention. Controversy, I think so. And so, yes, it was an absolute banger of a race. Now, shall we quickly talk BMW V12 LMR? We won't go into too much detail, but basically it was built from 1999, or raced in 1999 in the year 2000, and it was a collaboration between BMW Motorsport and Williams Racing. If I am correct, it's this period where Williams and BMW were also connected in Formula One. So, it didn't do well in the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1998, and so they went back to the drawing board and did some major changes to it. So bodywork and so forth. A big thing for them was to make it easier to drive and more efficient as well. Now, it did retain the same engine. So this is the 6-liter V12 that was built in collaboration, I guess, with Snitcher Motorsport and so forth. Now, in 1999, this is where it gets juicy. So debuting at the 12 Hours of Sebring, they entered a 2-car team. There was a big crash, I believe, but the second one took the overall win. So that was already a great achievement. So then they went back to Europe. They did go and do some testing at Monza and other places. And so, of course, unlike at Sebring, the V12 LMRs would be facing closed cockpit prototype. So as you saw, this is an open cockpit car, and so those closed cockpit prototypes were theoretically faster over a single lap, but not as fuel efficient. And so this was key. And if you don't know Le Mans, it's not always about who's got the fastest car, it's who spends the least amount of time in the pits over a period of 24 hours. That is quite important. Though this car wasn't a snail, as we can see there. It did have the 4th fastest lap time of the practice session, and I do believe that they did qualify in 3rd position and 6th position for the race. Now, it's very clear the Toyota GT1s was definitely the car to beat, and if they didn't have the bad luck that they did, then they probably would have won. But to finish first, you must first finish, right? Am I right? Sorry. Okay. Cheesy. I know. And so, yeah, there was a long story. I'm not going to go into the detail. Please go and have a look at this and get all the information you need. But this car put out 580 horsepower and had a top speed down the Mulsanne straight of 342. All right. And then they went off to do all kinds of fun stuff. Now, if you don't know what the 24 Hours of Le Mans is, there's this rock. You need to lift it up and move it to the side for sure. But just quickly, this race started in 1923, so it's over 100 years old now. It is the oldest active endurance race event in the world and is widely considered the world's most prestigious race. This is the one everybody wants to win. Formula One drivers are probably rated the best as drivers, but the single race that you can win, except for maybe, I guess, Monaco and the Indy 500, this is considered the peak, and it is part of the Triple Crown, as you can see it there. And so this is kind of a mixed match of public roads and sort of dedicated track, and so they fix this up for the race every year. All right, okay, my friends, I tell you what, that's pretty cool, but I tell you what's even cooler, having a listen to what this car sounded like in real life. Listen to this. So of course this is at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and not driven flat out, but still pretty cool. Woo. And it was a sequential. I'm sad it's not a full manual. I would have loved to drive this with my 3rd pedal, but not the case. We will do a manual at some stage. Look at that light in the middle. That was quite a cool thing for this car. It had like a big spotlight right in front of the driver's position. There we go. So next up, I thought I would just quickly show you guys the cars that were actually involved in this race, because they were brilliant. I mean, everybody who's played Gran Turismo knows the Toyota GT1. It was one of the halo cars available there. So there were 3 entrants. Then there we had the Mercedes-Benz CLR, the flipping good Mercedes-Benz. So, of course, they flipped out and then they retired, and Mercedes-Benz never returned to Le Mans. Then we had Audi had 2 different cars that they entered. They had the Audi R8 Coupe, not to be misconnected with the actual R8 Road car, but then they also had the R8 Roadster. Then we got into the Panoses. Courage was there, or Courage, Pescarolo. There we've got it, the number 15 LMP car that absolutely won this race outright. But then there were customer cars. You'll see that number 18 LMP. That one was the one, I believe, that blocked the Toyota GT1. Not illegal. They were doing their own thing. In endurance racing, the faster cars have to overtake the slower cars safely. They do not have to go off the racing line. So again, I haven't delved too deeply in it, but yeah, there's some controversy there. Nissan was involved in this as well. And then we moved to our sort of different class cars. There were the Ferrari 333 SPs. We had some 911 GT2s and then some Dodge Vipers. Now, for today's race, I've tried to get as many of those cars as possible just to shake it up. Of course, our focus is at the front, but still, I've got some 911s, some Vipers. We've got the Courage, the GT1s, the CLRs, and. So there is quite a few cars available. So, just look at this thing behind me, team. Isn't this just gorgeous? Now, we are running Assetto Corsa, not Assetto Corsa Evo or Competizione, and the links to all of the cars that are going to be part of this race, including the track and things I've shown already, will obviously be in the description. All right, I think it's time. Enough of the pitter-patter. Shall we head on down to the track? All right, so let's pause there for a second and then get ready. Now, importantly, this car, for whatever reason, and I have made so many adjustments to it, I've checked so many settings, this car has terminal understeer. Trust me, if I show you the settings I'm running, I have dialed it to the point. And I actually researched this. This car was actually known to be extremely well balanced and actually have quite a pointy nose. And so I don't know if it is the model for this, which I downloaded or something, but basically this car struggles. And so I have tried to dial it out, but basically I have to, in the corners, be slower than the rest. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Now, we are running for 10 laps. The time is sped up by times 30. So we're going to go through a day to night to day cycle and finish roughly around the time that this race did. And that would be 4 o'clock in the year 1999 in June. And so that's our settings. Okay. This will hopefully go well on our first try. Shall we give it a go? Let's do it. Okay. Not a bad start. Tires will be cold, so let's be safe around here. You see that understeer? Whew. Just terrible. You can even hear the wheels skidding. Oh, we got our first retirement. See, that's bullshit. The car wasn't that bad. All right. Hopefully we'll catch that CLR.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Oh, look at that! This must have been so amazing to experience. Oh, here we go. Let's get a bit of that slipstream. Oh no! You turned in on me! No! Oh no! Oh no! Well, I guess these sort of things happen, and you've just got to know. In reality, that was my mistake. Going on the inside there is the racing line. I should have gone to the outside. So I'll take that on the chin, and we will retry. Simple as this. Cool. Well, there we go. First experience. Wow, what a beautiful sunset, though. We will experience that again. Here we go. Bit of a slow start. Ooh, cold tires. Already a retirement. Wow, that must have had a bit of a whoopsie. That's terminal. Shortcut, cut. So I have turned off penalties, I admit. But it's only because this car is just unbelievably understeering. And brake. Gosh. This car is so cool, man. I don't know if the sound of it is realistic. I don't think it is. I do think that it sounded a little different, but still. Open cockpit, nothing between you but a helmet. Nothing between you and the fresh air but a helmet. This is precarious again. Come on, you can't just park there, dude. What the hell? What the Come on, man. Bullshit. That's just terrible AI. We'll take it. As you could see, what they did there was brake check me. Squeaky bum moments, y'all. Took a bite out of my seat there for sure. Oh my goodness, team, look at this. This is what dreams are made of. Driving a V12 BMW at Le Mans as the sun sets. It's quite interesting the things that I use for brake markers, especially at night, because a lot of things you won't be able to see. So what I'll do, I'll call them out as I see them. I'm sure there are better ones, but so here, not at the first marker, the second marker, and then I'll brake all the way down to third gear. So, and then I'm just medium throttle, waiting for that understeer terminal. Look at that. I have no front end. Wait for it to turn in. And then here we have to brake a little bit more because, again, look at that. And then open her up. And then here we're just waiting for the entrance to the pit to start. Hard brake down to first gear. Maybe a bit too hard there. Easy on the throttle. Now this one's a tricky one because what I'm going to try and do here is basically look at the buildings on the left, and when I pass the last building, I'll start braking. So brake. And then hard brake. And then over this crest, as you go left, you brake. Stick to the inside, almost clip those cones. Even more understeer. Oh, it's like a pig. All right, here we go. I believe this is an Audi trying to take the better of us. Actually, I can't see. Okay, let's try and get them out of our slipstream. Keep an eye open for that brake marker. Not the first one, the second one. So not the 200. There's the 200. Here we go. And brake. get out of that slipstream again. Ah, there's a nice hot air balloon. Okay, so here again, not the first marker, the second marker. Just after it, if you want to be ballsy. Let's not be ballsy now. And brake. Careful this one, that sort of tightens a little bit. You can see there. That was terrible. This guy is definitely going to be challenging us. Here we go, and brake. And now we take a second, take a breath. And by the way, I did try and find how to switch on the cockpit lights. Couldn't do it. That's why I've got the gear there, so I can at least see at night. Okay, so just after this first marker, down to fourth, and then hard. At this light on the right, very slow turn. Don't hit that curb. Oh, we got some traffic up front. This will be interesting. Couple of Ferraris. I just can't see shit out of that turn. Hopefully that causes our friend the Audi a little bit of delay. They would hit them at the next corner, so that could be good for us. Okay, nice. Man, imagine being in a hot air balloon watching these cars come down these straights. And you'll hear it so clearly. All right, I've got a new bucket list thing. Well, good morning, everybody. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Shut up, you still have to finish the race. Beautiful. Wow. Now you could just imagine you've been racing for hours, you're exhausted. And I think this is also one of the most dangerous periods because it's sort of like happy hour because the cars are at their coolest. You can start seeing the track a little bit better so you can pick your braking points better. But there's fatigue as well. And one mistake and you're in the wall. And all this time is wasted. Oh, what a beautiful moment. Ooh. Come on, turn, you bastard. All right, here we go. Lap 7. How's our fuel looking? Ooh. I haven't actually finished 10 laps, so I hope that's enough fuel. I hope so. I love the GT2 Porsche. I think it's one of the most beautiful Porsche race cars. Oh, we have to give that one a spin. That sounded amazing. It's always nice to race Le Mans. I once did in Gran Turismo, I think it was Gran Turismo 4. I did a 24-hour race, which you could save. You just go into the pits and save, so it's not in a row. But I did all 24 hours of it. You had to if you wanted to get the trophies. And I got the platinum, baby. But anyway, and the funny thing was, it's on random weather. And so, I kid you not, I did it in the 908 HDI, I think it was. And my goodness, team, it rained, I joke you not, for 23 hours. 23 hours, and I did it without traction control or ABS. If you want to learn how to drive an almost 1,000 horsepower LMP1 car with no traction control ABS in the rain. It was the most amazing experience. And the funny thing is in that 23rd hour, I can remember it still, the next straight that we're going to go on to. It's at that point there in the top right, I believe, there was this little indicator that showed 100% wet, and it showed that basically the entire race. Let me just get my braking point here. And I remember it vividly. All of a sudden, it just showed 99, and I was like, oh, hang on a minute. That's the first time it changed. And within like 2 laps, it came down all the way to 0%, and it turned into a dry track. Oh my goodness. It was like the most amazing experience after learning that car so well. To then suddenly be unleashed on dry slicks, and oh, there's just lap record after lap record after lap record. So yes, team, I would highly recommend. Oh my goodness, hopefully this fuel makes it because we're on the last lap. Try that for yourself. See there, what the hell? They must have had a puncture or something. Timo, there we go. 24 hours. think that was pretty good. A couple of scary moments here and there, but overall that was really nice. There we go, and here we go. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah! Whoo! That was amazing. All right. It's with that we're going to say goodbye. So yes, the greatest one. Is it my favorite car I've ever driven around Le Mans? Definitely not. Like I said, that terminal understeer, like I said multiple times, is just not right. But I'll try some other models. If I find one that's seemingly better, I'll definitely revisit this again. But I'll put it to you. What other cars would you like to see me drive around Le Mans? You know, I want to go maybe historical 250 GTO kind of a thing, to have a manual gearbox for 24 hours, 48 minutes. Or would you like to see something a little bit more modern, like maybe the Ferraris that have recently won a couple as well? Look, if you enjoyed this, please let me know your thoughts. Head in the comments. Tell me what you thought. Is this something that you want to see more of? But also, please don't be shy. Hit the like button. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a subscribe, and I would provide you with more content. Of course, check out nextleveljj.com. In there, you'll find everything, including my socials, link to my Discord, and so forth. And then, of course, as always, the brilliant music provided to us by Stream Beast by Harris Allen. But I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are. We'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.